At any rate, all right, as you guys know, there's no possible way we can do almost any class without talking about contact management. Okay, so I think the last class that we did, we were talking about, what were we doing? What was the last class? We were, what did we do last week? Farming. Okay, one of the things I said is you are not allowed to farm until you have a contact management system. Sneak up. You want to come here, Robin?
No.
Come on.
No, because I have a client coming,
Okay.
so.
So, anyway, you are not allowed to farm until you have a contact management system. And the reason I've said that is, in my opinion, any form of prospecting, and of course farming is prospecting, is a complete waste of time unless you have some mechanism to get this person's name into a database with a phone number and an address if you have it, and an email if you have it, and the ability to follow up, and be able to schedule something on your calendar to follow back up with that person. If you do not have an ability to, and again, in my opinion, it needs to be electronic in some form. You don't have to go spend thousands of dollars on a database program, or you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars, or Top Producer. Who's using Top? You use Top Producer, weren't you? Anybody using Top Producer? Okay, Top Producer is a great program. It's $25, $30 a month now, which isn't cheap, certainly not expensive, but you don't have to. If that's not in the budget right now, you can use a form of Outlook. You use some sort of free database system, because you need to be able to put these people in the system with some sort of follow-up. So, same thing is true. Same thing is true of holding an open house. Open house is prospecting. Ideally, people are going to come through your open house, and they're going to have some interest. Hopefully, you'll at least get a name and maybe a phone number and maybe an email address or whatever it happens to be. What are you going to do with that? I got to tell you, I'm being honest. I don't want to call anybody out here. I have held hundreds of open houses. Hundreds. I used to hold open houses every weekend for years, Saturday and Sunday sometimes, and we do them on Friday. Occasionally we do a Wednesday. A Wednesday open house? I agree that that's not the typical time to do an open house. When does everybody do open houses? Saturday and Sunday from noon to 4, 1 to 5, or 10 to 3, or whatever it happens to be. Okay, and I get it. There's nothing wrong with doing an open house on a Wednesday if it's properly marketed. Are you going to get as much feedback and response as maybe a Saturday, Sunday? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. You may get nobody through. I don't know. Okay, but you know, there are certain areas where I would think maybe in the summertime specifically, what's wrong with doing an open house on a Thursday between 4 and 7 p.m.? You got a heavily trafficked area, maybe people coming off the freeway, coming home from work. Now
Stays
again,
light longer?
huh?
It stays light
It's
longer?
like, yeah, you probably wouldn't, by the way, you don't, open houses at dark is not a good idea. Okay? But in the summertime, having an open house until 7 o'clock, I don't see a problem with that. Now again, the challenge with holding an open house on a Wednesday from 4 to 7 is when people are driving by and they see an open house sign out on a Wednesday, most of them think what?
You forgot to take your sign down.
Right. Okay. So again, you got to approach this a little bit differently. Okay. And you may not get that type of drive-by traffic. So a little bit of marketing of an open. I would suggest that most of us, and I've done this. I think I just said I held hundreds of open houses. Let's just say I held 100 open houses in my real estate career. The reality is 80 of them I was completely unprepared for. Okay? In other words, I told my seller, or my seller told me, Lance, you'll be holding an open house this weekend. Okay? Now, again, who controls when that open house is being held is a whole other conversation. So if you're holding an open house on your listing, partially why you may be holding that open house on your listing is because your seller, what? requested or expects you to hold an open house on your listing. If that's what you want to do, I say that's fine. If that's not what you want to do, maybe because are all properties ideal open houses? No. There's a lot of properties out there that you should not be holding open houses on for whatever reason. Maybe the location is just too difficult to figure out. Or maybe it's a price range issue. Maybe it's
A major fixer.
maybe it's a what?
Major fixer.
Maybe it's a dump.
It's a gated community.
Maybe it's gated. Maybe there's those sort of challenges. So some of these you may not want to do. But I would suggest that you control whether you hold an open house. Having said that, if you are going to market yourself, and by the way, I am a fan of open houses. Okay, there may be a point in my career, I may be even on tape at some point saying, "Oh, open houses are a waste of time." Okay, if I've ever said that, I've modified my approach. Okay, open houses properly done can be fantastic. Coming off of a farming class that we did, if you are truly farming and you get that listing in your farm, you want to hold that house open forever. And as a matter of fact, when you get that property sold and you don't have another listing in your farm, I want you to be sad. Because if you want to capture a farm and you want to be known as the neighborhood professional in that farm, you want to be holding an open house in your farm as much as you possibly can. Every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday, okay? And maybe Friday. You know, quite honestly, I would, and most agents don't do this. Most of us take weekends off, okay? Well, I got a dirty look from one of you. I'm going to say it again. Most of us take weekends off, okay? Don't lie to me. I know. The office is empty on the weekends.
No one's
Lead
offers.
router calls don't go unanswered on weekends. There's a small percentage of agents that will take a call through lead router on the weekend. Quite honestly, lead router calls go unanswered before 10 o'clock in the morning, and lead router calls go unanswered after 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
They're not calling the right one.
I'm talking as a percentage. There's a couple of you that say, "Come on, Lance, you're insulting me. I work every weekend and I pick up the phone 24/7. I'm talking as the vast majority, and I'm not just talking in this agents. We have an industry-wide problem. Okay, we don't work. So let's get back to when we should work. If I'm and we've got a new agent that's going to come join us here hopefully in the next 20 minutes. And if he was here right now, I would say, he asked me, he said, "Hey, what should my schedule be?" So you know what, I want you to basically put in, let's start off realistic, because you can spend 70, 80 hours a week in this business, easily. Well, let's just say, let's treat this like a real job, a traditional job, a 5-day-a-week, 40-hour a week kind of a deal. I'd like you to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I would prefer that the days you take off are not Saturday or Sunday. And probably not Monday either. If you want to take a couple days off, and I know this is tough, I would suggest you take off Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or maybe Wednesdays and Thursdays, maybe Thursday, Friday, or maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wait a minute, Tuesday and Thursday, I mean I got to come back to work on Wednesday? Yeah. Oh, and by the way, on those days you take off, you need to answer your phone. And you need to respond to your email. I'm going to Lake Powell Saturday. I will be quote-unquote gone for 9 days. Reality is, I will probably be more available during that 9 days than I am this past week. And the reason is, I'm out, I pick up my phone, I'm not distracted by people here in the office. There's at least a couple, 3 of you in this room right now, and hopefully a few of you, well not hopefully, but I'm sure there's 1 or 2 on the video that have said, "Boy, sometimes Lance is difficult to get a hold of. Sometimes I call and I get voicemail, and he doesn't always call me back right away. Or sometimes, whatever happens to be." I would suggest to every single one of you, you don't call me after 5 o'clock on the weekdays, and you don't call me on the weekends. Because you know what magically happens to me from 5 o'clock on, and Saturday and Sunday? you guys never call me. You never ask me anything. And I'm going to say never, I'm overgeneralizing. But as a percent, let's suppose I get 100 requests for my time in a week. 99% of those requests come Monday through Friday between 10 and 3 in the afternoon. And I challenge all of you, call me after 5. Call me on the weekend. You've got an extremely good chance that I'll pick up the phone on the first or second ring. And if I don't, and you get my voicemail, you have an extremely good chance that I will call you back probably within 5 or 10 minutes. Now, if you do that today, today's a perfect example. I've been in the Claremont sales meeting most of the morning. I had a meeting after that. I had about a 45-minute window driving from Claremont to here. I got a couple phone calls returned. I got into the office, had an agent. Now I've got a 2-hour block of training ahead of me, so I can't get my phone. So if you tried to catch me this morning at 9:30 or 10, I'm done. Okay? So now I'm backed up. Now it's 3, 4 o'clock, and now it's 5 o'clock. I'm 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm home, trying to go through the voicemails, trying to go through the emails, all the rest of that. Having said that, if you would have just waited, or frankly, call me 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not kidding. If you would have called me at 6 o'clock this morning, I would have been at Lake Paris. I would have picked up my phone and said, oh, Eric Fisher's calling. Eric, what's happening?
Don't call me at 6.
I would have picked up. Okay. So now let's bring this back.
I would have called you out and been sleeping.
Let's bring this back. Let's bring this back to the schedule. Let's bring this back to open houses. Let's bring this back to business planning. Let's bring this back to scheduling. How are we going to do this? I've got my schedule up here. So if I'm a new agent, and I'm not just putting this in the context of holding an open house, I'm putting this in the context of the people that we want to do business with are available. Most of them have traditional jobs, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They're available on Saturday and Sunday, they're available in the evenings. Why would we model the hours that we're working at the same time when our clients are the least accessible? Why would we do that? We want to work with buyers and sellers, and again, we're talking generally. Most of them have weekends off. So why are we knocking doors on Tuesday afternoon between 2 and 3 o'clock when most, and again, granted, I know there's still a lot of people that are home, but statistically, most of these people are not going to be home. They're going to be at work. Or at least one of them is going to be at work. Would you agree that you probably got a better opportunity to find more people home if you were to knock doors on a Saturday afternoon between 2 and 3 o'clock? Now, granted, some of them are going to be at the beach, some are going to be on vacation, some are going to be other things. But we're doing this wrong. Now, again, I understand why we do it, because all of us in this business have family members, or spouses, or girlfriends, or boyfriends, or children, and what do they want to do on the weekend?
Spend time with that.
They want to spend time with family. You got the birthday you got to go to. Well, gosh, my wife's been working. My wife's got Saturday off. We don't get to spend enough time together. Of course I have to take Saturday off. Okay? That's one of the, you want to talk about some of the negatives of this business? That can be some of the negatives of this business. Getting our schedule to jive with a spouse's schedule or a family member's schedule. Which brings us back to open houses. Again, this new agent, we were just chatting about this, talking about accountability and scheduling. Let's kind of get this back to open houses. So again, I've got my schedule up here. And I'm going to kind of bounce around here a little bit, and then we're going to talk nuts and bolts open houses in there. Most of you have seen this before if you've been in any one of my classes. I've got my 3 little tabs up here. I've got my calendar. These are the people I'm supposed to call or do something. These are my appointments. This is my thing over here. I've got my email center here in the middle, and then I've got my individual contacts. They're all linked. Brett Martin, that's my brother. He sent me an email today. I was over here looking at it, and everybody I'm talking to and whatever my appointments are, they're all here. So, rule number 1, you're going to hold an open house, you have to plan it in advance. Don't do what I said earlier. 80% of the open houses that I have held in my career were not planned. What I mean by that is, I knew I was holding an open house on Sunday, but other than getting up on Sunday, a half hour before I'm supposed to be there, throwing my garbage in the trunk, driving out, I think I'll put a sign here, oh, I don't have enough signs, I needed 12 signs to do it right, but I only have 6. Because the office didn't provide them to me. Because I'm too cheap to buy my own. Because I don't have personalized open house signs. Damn, that broker only got me 6. And look at these, they're all scratched up. You know, take responsibility, guys. Go buy your own damn open house signs. Don't turn to me to go provide you with open house signs. I have some, but you know what happens? I gave them to Michael last weekend, and I didn't get them back. I gave them to Robert the weekend before that, I didn't get them back. I gave them to Eric the weekend before that, they came back, and it looks like a herd of elephants, you know, went over. I guarantee you, I give you guys open houses. I don't want to treat you like children, but for a moment, will you allow me to treat you like a child? I give you an open house. You don't bring it back, you bring it back in terrible condition. I would suggest, if you bought your own open house, you would take care of it. Right? And by the way, if you do buy your own open house signs, put your name on them. That will prevent other people in the office from borrowing your open house signs. And by the way, saying no, there's nothing wrong with it. Even if you don't have your name on your open house signs, Eric comes up to me, I'm an agent, I work right next to him, I'm in my cubicle, he sees some open house signs up against it. Hey Lance, I'm having an open house this weekend, can I borrow your signs? No. Dude, no. You ever try to borrow a mechanic's tool? Right?
Not happy.
You try to buy, hey buddy, you know, can I borrow your 5/8 socket? No. Why? I make my living. You're going to break it, you're going to lose it, you're not going to return it, and when I need it, I'm not going to have it. Don't loan out your stuff. Go get your own open house signs. Personalize them. When I was holding open houses, I had my own signs, and you know what I did with them? I put them in pillowcases. Because when I took them out of the ground, I put a pillowcase on top of them, and I put them in the trunk of my car, because I didn't want them to get scratched up. I can assure you, nobody here that's ever borrowed an open house sign from me has ever put a pillowcase over it when they put it in the trunk of their car. Because they come back, brand new open house signs, brand new. They come back, destroyed. So now, go get your own open house signs. I'm getting back to planning this open house. So I'm going to plan my open house. Don't do it 30 minutes before. How many open, and by the way, the more the merrier. You can't hold an open house with 3 open house signs. You're going to spend 3 or 4 hours of your day. I got one there, and I got one there, and I got one there. That's the only way to get there? You want these people coming from miles away. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but if I'm holding an open house up in Sunnymead Ranch, if I can do it, I want an open house sign off of the freeway, pointing north. And then I want another one going up Frederick when I get to Ironwood. Keep going. And then I want another one when I get to Swan. Keep going. And then I want another one when I get up to the high school. Keep going. And then I want another one when I get to Old Lake. Make a right. I want dozens, and I want balloons on them. You know, you want all of that sort of stuff. So you can't hold an open house with 2 or 3 or 4 signs. So again, planning is important. Second thing is if I show up 10 minutes before my open house, and I realize, oh shoot, they didn't cut the grass. They didn't pick up the toys. The grass is dead. They left their car in the driveway. There's an oil stain in the driveway. I told them I wanted this place pressure washed. They didn't pressure wash it. I walk in, the house smells like it smells. Okay? None of that is acceptable. Okay? And if you've ever held, and I have, by the way, I've held open houses under all of those scenarios I've just given you. And shame on me for doing that. Okay? I use Dwayne as an example. Everybody knows Dwayne in the office. Dwayne has been one of the top realtors in our office for years. Dwayne has made a lot of money selling foreclosures, but Dwayne is also a traditional real estate agent, has been for 25 years. Dwayne took a listing a couple, 3 days ago. Guess what Dwayne did the day after he took the listing?
Open house.
No. Dwayne went over there and cut the grass on his listing. Went to the gym in the morning. He went over to cut the grass. He cleaned that property up. This is the same Dwayne that comes in dressed to the nines. Okay? You'll never see him driving a dirty car. He's made a ton of money. He's closed thousands of escrows. And he's personally went over and cut the grass on a house that he just listed. A little different mentality, right? So you're holding an open house, and for whatever reason your seller has not prepared the property the way you asked them to prepare it. Well, you need to take action. Do I telling you that you have to go cut the grass? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Hire somebody to do it, but do it yourself. Get it done. Take care of it. Whatever you need to do, get it done. Make sure the property is clean. You don't want your. By the way, your sellers are not allowed to be home when you hold an open house. We're not going to bother anybody. We're just going to be over there in the back. No, you're not. You want me to hold an open house on Saturday? Which, by the way, I prefer vacant houses, but what you don't always get what you prefer. If you're holding an occupied property, they have to be gone. I really want to be here. No. No, I insist I'm here. Well, then I'm going to hold your house open. Why? Yeah, you make buyers uncomfortable. You know, buyers are uncomfortable. Oh, that's okay. We're going to leave. No. Trust me. You hold a house open when the seller's there. Buyers, okay, I'll just take the flyer. Or they'll walk through, but they walk through faster. People are polite. People are generally polite. They feel like they're intruding upon, especially if the seller's literally sitting there reading it. And then they don't say anything. Now they might tell you, "Oh, the house is nice," but you don't know if they mean it because they want to be polite to the seller. Or if the house is a mess, people are polite. They're not going to tell you. They'll tell you, "Geez, this house really stinks. What's that smell?" If they know that the seller's sitting there reading a book in the living room, they are not going to say that. Okay, so vacant houses are important. Clean houses are important. Lawns that are cut are important. All of that stuff is important. So let's talk a little bit differently, and then we'll get back into the meat and potatoes of holding an open house. I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but if I was, let's pretend today's Monday, and let's pretend we're going to schedule an open house for this Saturday or Sunday. Okay, as opposed to showing up on Sunday at the last minute and showing up with 3 signs when we need 20, this is what I would suggest that we do. Now again, I'm going to assume that this is either your house that you're holding open, or at least it's somebody's in the office. You have obviously the authority and the ability to hold this house open. And anybody have a listing they want to talk about? Something we can look at? Anybody? Okay, I'm just going to go. Let's just go up to the old standby. Let's just go up to Sunny Ranch here for a second. We're just going to pick a house. Okay, we've got 208 properties available. Actually, let's just go to the map. Okay. And by the way, the technology that we have today to help market our properties is just so much better than what we had even a couple years ago. I mean, it's just amazing how nice it is from a standpoint of marketing and what we can do. Actually, last weekend we were farming up in Hidden Springs, right? Let's go back to Hidden Springs. Okay, so here's Hidden Springs. And let's just grab this house right in the middle. Okay, we got a $280,000 4-bedroom, 3-bath house on Shadow Ridge. Let's pretend for a moment that that's our listing. Okay? Okay, we're going to hold an open house on Sunday. All of you, and by the way, I want all of you guys to become open house professionals. By the way, open houses are not designed, you're not holding the open house to try to sell that house. That is not the goal. That's why a lot of people, they hold an open house and they don't sell that house and they get discouraged it didn't work. That is not the goal. There are several goals. If it's in your farm, visibility. Okay? Robin has a listing, Robin's holding it open, Robin is working that property. People see that. Other sellers see that. Oh, look at that. Robin with Coldwell Banker took that listing last week and look, she's held that thing open Saturday and Sunday for 3 weeks in a row. And then we saw a sold sign pop up.
And I baked cookies.
And she baked cookies. We're going to get to the cookies in a minute. Hold that cookie thought. Another thing you want to do, you've got to think, you've got to put some thought into this. Today's Monday. We're going to hold an open house next Saturday and Sunday. So we got 6-7 days to prepare. All of you need to go order a sign, a yard sign. Coldwell Banker, Robin, open house, this Sunday, from noon to 5, or whatever it happens to be. Plan it in the yard. Neighbors are going to drive by. Now again, by the way, this is a not necessarily the heaviest traveled street in the world, but go ahead and put one there. Maybe put one out here on the corner of Hidden Springs Drive, which is a very heavily traveled street. Everybody's going. If you can, and somebody doesn't steal it, put it right here with a little chalkboard thing in the old school. Little signs with a little chalk thing on there. Open house Sunday from noon to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 Shadow Springs. Write it on there. Robin's face, a couple balloons on Monday. Okay? People are driving through. People are seeing what's going on. Now again, if it's your farm, this is a must. This is an absolute must. If this is in your farm territory, you have to do this because again, our goal is not to sell the house on Shadow Springs. Our goal is to market ourselves. I've taken the listing, I'm working it, and I've said I'm going to hold it out. Now, again, I'm going to digress off of our plan here. You know how many times I've had agents tell me, "Hey, Lance, I'm going to hold an open house this weekend," and then on Monday, "Hey, Michael, how'd that open house go?" "Oh, yeah, didn't do it." Well, you didn't do it. Oh, why would that be? What were we talking about earlier?
Birthday party.
There's the birthday party. Ah, heck. My wife didn't tell me it was my niece's birthday party. Okay? I get it. I get it. There's parts of this business that can be a little taxing on the relationship. If, gosh, I can never see you on Sunday. I can never see you on Saturday. I have to work. Okay? So again, you got to be prepared to do that. But then again, if you tell me you're going to hold an open house on Sunday, then it must be on your calendar. And if it's on your calendar, what? You do it. Okay? Because you can't have anything on your calendar that you don't do. And quite honestly, if Robin and I are married, as unromantic as it may sound, I don't want to, it's important for me that Robin knows what my calendar is. Okay? It would be the equivalent of if she had a job from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but she knew on Thursday she was going to have to stay late and work overtime to do something, and she would give me the courtesy to say, "Hey, hon, just so you know, this Thursday I'm going to work late." So I know not to plan anything on Thursday. Or I know not to commit you on Thursday. Do we all do that? And some of you don't have significant others in here to deal with that, and God bless you. It makes your life a lot easier when it comes to scheduling this sort of stuff. But you can't tell me that you have something on your calendar, and then when I tell you on Monday how the open house go, you tell me you didn't go. Now, if you told me you didn't go because there was an emergency, or you told me you didn't go because you got sick, or that would fly once or maybe twice. But every week, then I give up on you. You're not serious about your business. You don't have any discipline. Anybody here play sports in high school or now? Football, basketball, karate, baseball, anything like that?
I played soccer.
Soccer. To me, it's the best thing in the world. My children's grades suffered because they played football. Okay? In my opinion, and they're both through school, one's in college and Drew here is in the office, they are better people today because they committed to a team and the discipline of showing up. I've got the football team, and if you ever played any high school sports, especially football, man, the commitment that those kids have to go through is ridiculous. I mean, it is extreme. These kids are getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week. They blow their summer gets blown away. The practices that it teaches a sense of discipline, and they understand I have to do this. I have to do it. So I get it on your calendar, get it on your schedule. Okay, so let's go back to our example. It's now Monday, And I've got my open house here, and I've got my signs here. Now on Tuesday, I'm going to do some marketing. I know various agents out there at times are going into neighborhoods, they're hanging door hangers, they're doing door knocking, they're doing marketing, whatever it happens to be. This is a perfect opportunity. What's one of the problems, and those are trick questions, say, oh gosh, let's keep asking these questions I don't know the answer to. See if we can get this. What's one of the problems, what's one of the things you hate about going door knocking? I would suggest that one of the things you hate about going door knocking is you don't know what to say. Say, expect, or do. How nice would it be if when you're out door knocking, you know exactly what to say? Hello, I'm Lance Martin, Coldwell Banker Pioneer Real Estate. I just wanted to invite you to an open house I'm holding around the block. Here's a flyer, here's some information. We're holding it open from Sunday from 2 to 4 o'clock. We'd love for you to come, or I'm going to bake some cookies. Okay? Let's talk a little bit. I'm skipping ahead of my presentation. I'm going to bake some cookies. Also, I'm going to have one of those little jumper toys for all the kids in the neighborhood. We're going to put it out in the driveway, and they're going to be able to bounce up. And you know what else? I've got Joe's from Joe's Pony Rides coming. And we're going to have a pony in the backyard, and if you want to bring the kids over, we're not going to do a lot of riding, but if you wanted, they're going to dress them up, and you can put them on the pony, you can take pictures with the pony. And I'm going to give out pumpkins, and I'm giving out $20 bills. Okay?
I want to go to that one.
Would you please come to my open house?
Make it $100 bills
Now,
over there.
is that a little different? Because sometimes if you've gone out, and I've done this. Going out, knocking doors, and talking to people sometimes can be challenging if you really don't have anything to say, except, you thought about selling your house? Nobody wants to buy or sell in the neighborhood? Okay, that's something to say, and we say that all the time. But you might be received a little bit differently, especially, and again, now this is where, if this is in your farm, what if you're knocking in this neighborhood, you're going to be knocking on people's doors that have the exact house that's open.
Mm-hmm.
Are they interested in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Even if they're not interested in selling. They're, that's my model. Yes, I know. It is.
Especially if it's the mirror image, they want to see the opposite.
Exactly. Oh, it's the flip-flopped.
Yeah.
We've always wondered how it looked with the dining room on the other side. Oh, someone told me they took out the wall and they opened up the family room. They did. Or maybe you tell them that. Oh, by the way, this is your model. You might want to come by and check it out because, you know that wall between your dining room and your family room? They took it out. You're not going to believe what it's done for the house. This is salesmanship, guys. Okay? This is a different approach to holding. Do you want to have 50 to 100 people at your open house, or do you want to have 4? Now, granted, the way the market's been lately, you can just show up at noon, throw a couple signs, and you might have 30 people in front of your house. But that's going to change. So again, we're knocking doors. You want to come to an open house and hold an open house? Yeah. Now let me give you a little caveat. If you put a sign out here, and you put a sign out here, and you pass out flyers that say you're holding an open house from Sunday from noon to 5,
Better be there.
you'd better be there from noon to 5. And quite honestly, I suggest you be prepared to be there from 11:30 to 6. Because you will piss people off. And guess who they call?
You.
They'll call me.
And it's a weekend, so Lance answers
They'll
his
call me.
phone.
Hey, can I talk to the broker? Da-da-da-da-da. Robin said, she passed out this flyer. The sign says, I know she was there because I drove by earlier, but I couldn't stop in now. So I figured she said she was going to be here till 5. So I showed up at 5. Or again, we want to send a message. We want to send a message. You haven't had anybody there all day. Oh, jeez, it's 4 o'clock. House is vacant. They don't have the NFL network. Can't watch my football. Nobody's been here. I think I'll pack up a little bit early. Can't do that. Not only can you not do that, I would suggest if you say your open house goes from 12 to 5, that every single time you are there and you are ready at 11:30, and even if nobody's been there all day, you stay till 5:30. Out in the front yard. Just kind of mingling around a little bit. Maybe putting some signs in, walking back and forth from your trunk, maybe taking your uneaten pies from the house back into the car, whatever the heck you're going to do. Hang around. Be visible. Let people know that this is your area and you care about it. And I'm telling you, you can own a farm. You can own a farm in no time at all. Okay, let's do something different. By the way, we can also do direct mailings. Now again, if this is your farm or not, you can still do direct mailings. Now if you have been farming in this area for a period of time, you should hopefully have better information, maybe emails and maybe valid information. I mean, how easy is it to go into your contact management system? Let's pull up an email blast. Documents and templates. This is what am I looking for? Oh, that's public. You have all this stuff, guys. You can't, by the way, you can't hold an open house without a contact manager. Did I say that right? You're not allowed. Cole Baker office, CBP emails. Okay, here's an email. The email that we sent for the Christmas party, right? Let's just pretend for a moment that this email is you're invited to my open house. Which, by the way, how cool would it be? Take a little YouTube video like we saw in the meeting. Put a link to your YouTube video. By the way, if you want to check it out, this is what we got, right? And now I want to send that out. I double click on my email. What do you want to send it to? I want to send this to, I want to send it to my REO team. Or I want to send it to agents. Maybe I want to send it to real estate agents. This is part of my data. I don't know if you can see what that says. It says 26 plus agents. Anybody have any idea what that means? I have a database within my 65,000 contacts. It says every single real estate agent that sold more than 26 houses. If you're in the 26 or plus club, you're in there. Don't ask me where I came up with that, but for lack of a better description, that is what I would consider a high-producing agent. So if I wanted to send an email to high-producing agents, I would select this, and however many seconds it took me to do that, those high-producing agents just got an email inviting them to my open house, or in this case, to our Christmas party, or to whatever it happens to be. If I want to send it to, what else have I got in here? CBPRE agents. I want to send that same invitation to everybody who's within Coldwell Banker Pioneer Real Estate. Boom, boom, boom. Takes me 30 seconds, it's done. Now, if I've already built the template, it's even easier. Okay? Or, in this case, my farm. I now go back over here and I want to tell everybody in my farm that I have emails to that I'm holding an open house on Sunday with a link to my YouTube channel. And maybe even a link to the pony guy who's going to be taking free pictures. Right? So, you market that. You send that email blast out. You've got all your stuff going. What?
Yes,
Yes.
he's coming on board.
Who's coming on board?
David!
Oh, David! Dude, you look like the guy I just took. I thought you were Arturo. Doesn't he look like Arturo?
Was that Arturo? The guy that was in your
just left,
office?
he was supposed to come back.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you
On board. Couldn't resist.
You
So
know what?
basically they
I just prayed about it overnight, and I was like, give me a sign.
What was the sign?
Nothing really.
All right, this is honest. I love it. Hey, that's Arturo. That's who I thought you were for a second. Arturo, welcome.
Okay.
But,
You just gave me goosebumps.
Cool.
I'm thrilled to death.
Right.
Welcome aboard, David.
Right.
thank you.
So when are you starting?
He can start as soon as tomorrow, and I would prefer that so we can get him,
Okay.
trained and all that good stuff
Great.
with Melissa.
Fantastic.
All right.
Perfect. All right. Great. By the way, this is Arturo, who I thought was David or was vice versa for a second. Arturo's getting his license
They
here.
don't look alike.
A little bit. A little bit.
They both have brown hair, come on.
All right.
And they're males.
Stop.
And I was going to think I'm David or Arturo.
Well, actually, it's funny. I didn't recognize you at the lake the other day.
Oh, I didn't recognize you.
It's
I can't even recognize my own children.
different attire, different places.
You know what's
so.
bad is I recognized Drew's truck over anything. Because I saw your dog running, and
Right.
it jumps over the trailer, so I hit my brakes right there. I was like, I don't need to hit anybody's dog.
Oh, God, it would have been great.
Especially your brokers. That
All
would
right.
be very cool.
So, all right, we're getting back to business again. Arturo, just hang out. Like I told you before, if you have to bug out before 3, that would be good. We're real informal here. If you have any questions, ask them. Okay, so we've sent an email blast out. Is that where we left off? We're email blasting our farm. If we've got it, that's great. Okay, now let's take a look at. By the way, this also I've been using this in the context of a farm. This works perfectly fine not in your farm. Okay. There's another listing up here, 3330. Big Creek. All right. I'm going to talk about this in the context of a larger marketing plan. Okay? So if I'm losing you guys, please raise your hand and stop me. Let's forget about what we've been talking about with open houses here for a minute. Let's just forget about that. Okay? We're going to come back to this open house in a minute. This is a much larger plan. Who runs a hot sheet every day? Okay. Every day. Part of your business plan. You need to run a hot sheet every day. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, in the multiple listing service, CRM less, the area that you are working, let's just for simplicity's sake say you only are focusing on this city, Moreno Valley. Every day you want to run a hot sheet for Moreno Valley, and that hot sheet is going to tell you all the new listings that have come onto the market, anything that's gone pending, anything that's closed, anything that's expired, all the statuses. Okay? Let me give you a small sample. I run a hot sheet every day. My hot sheet is a little different than your hot sheet. My hot sheet is more specific to our offices. Okay? Because again, my target audience is a little different than yours. I want to see what our offices are doing. Then you can run this automatically. I'm running a hot sheet. Here's my link. This is everything that's happened. I don't know whether there's going to be a lot of stuff or a little bit of stuff. Let's find out. Hopefully there's more than 2 properties on here. Okay, so this is everything that's happened in our office in the last 24 hours. Okay? Now, let's pretend for a moment that this is the same hot sheet that you guys are running for your market area. So again, we're putting the open houses aside for a minute. We have one new listing on Sunbird in Moreno Valley for $199. This is a listing that was, let's say, it was taken by another agent, Joe at ABC Realty. This is what I want you to do, especially if this is in your farm. But frankly, there's so few new listings coming on the market every day. You should do this every single day. Arturo, what did I tell you about 2 hours ago or an hour ago? What's one of the main problems that real estate agents have in this business is that when they wake up on Friday morning, they don't know what
They don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do. They don't have a schedule and a calendar that says, this is what I'm doing. And when you don't have a calendar and a schedule that tells you what to do, what do you do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because that's what your calendar told you.
Or you pretend. Come into the office. I'm here. I've got my own chair. Cool. Landscaping the desk. I got a phone. The air conditioner's set perfect today. We play at the computer. This is pretty cool. I think I'll walk over to the copy machine. Maybe I'll go in and bug Lance. Let me make up a reason. Would you help me out with this? Really? It's really what you want to know? I mean, we have too many pretenders in this business. Let's stop pretending. Let's get it on our calendar. One of the things that should be on your calendar every day, in my opinion, as your humble broker, is to run a hot sheet. The hot sheet tells you what's happening in the market that you're working. Is it a good idea to know the new listings, what's went into escrow, what's sold in the area that you're working? Yes, so this is what we do. We pull up this, this has nothing to do with whether this happens to be our office, but this is other people's listing. Let's just say Eric works at Remax across the street. Eric has a new listing on Sunbird. I call Eric Seller. Now, I'm not calling Eric Seller to steal the listing. He just listed the thing yesterday, and number one, that would be unethical and dishonest, and it's not appropriate. I call Eric Seller, and I say, ring, ring. Hello, Eric Seller, Lance Martin, Coldwell Banker Town and Country. I see that you just listed your property. It came onto the MLS today. I happen to work in your area quite a bit. I do not have a buyer today. However, would it be okay if I came up and previewed your property? I'd like to get familiar with the area. I haven't seen your house before. I'd like to come in. I'll be there just 60 seconds. I want to run in through the property, take a quick look at it, because I do sell a lot of properties up in your neighborhood, and if I happen to find somebody who's interested in a house that's like yours, then I'd like to know what I'm looking at, and then maybe I'll be able to bring an offer in. I know your agent, Eric, very well. He's a friend of mine. We've done business before. He's a great agent. And maybe I'll be able to bring him an offer. Would it be okay if I came up today between 10 and 1 o'clock? Now, you don't have to go through all that. But say, I'd like to come up and preview your house. Gotta be there between 10 and 1. So forget about the script that I just threw out there. What will that seller say?
Sure.
Yes! Not only will they say yes, they're gonna be excited. They just listed the house with Eric. The next morning, by the way, we do this as the first thing in the morning. So if you don't have your calendar, what do I do? I don't know what to do on Friday morning. Friday morning between 8 and 9, I call my appointments of houses I'm going to preview. Between 9 and 12, I preview them. Okay? So between 8 and 9, I call Sunbird. You're not going to get a hold of everybody. Call Sunbird, try to get up, leave a voicemail, that's fine. Now again, do not misunderstand what I'm saying, because this is very easily, I'm often misunderstood. The purpose for me to go up there is legitimate. I want to preview that house. But I want to preview it for a whole bunch of reasons. Number one, I want to know what the market is. I want to know what the heck Eric's doing, especially if it's in my farm. I want to, is he a good agent? Is he a bad agent? Is that a good price? Is it a clean house? Is it not so clean house? Why didn't I get that listing? How come I didn't get that listing? What's Eric doing? I maybe want to investigate commissions. I want to know everything. I also wouldn't mind when I got there. Hello, Mrs. Eric Seller. I'm Lance. I talked to you on the phone earlier today. Here's my card. Nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, not only is nothing wrong with that, that's appropriate. You always hand your cards out to people. I'm a real estate professional. I'm not some axe murderer or something like that. I'm just previewing the property. And if you want to call Eric and say, hey, Eric, I'm going to preview your property today. Cool, listen, I might have a buyer for it. Do you have? By the way, if they ever ask you if you have a buyer, if you have a buyer, tell them the truth. If you don't have a buyer, tell them the truth. No, I don't have a buyer. I'm not previewing property. I'm not previewing. I want to see what you got. So you go in, you take a look at the house. Mrs. Eric Seller, very nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Here's my card. If I have any questions, I'll give Eric a call. But it's a nice house. Thanks for letting me in. I'm in and out of there in a minute and a half. Okay? That's it. I am not soliciting her listing. If she's asking me questions, if she wants to badmouth Eric, we never do that. Which, of course, she wouldn't do that because she just listed with the day before. Okay? Now, we are not poaching people's listings. We are previewing. Now, let me go back. Actually, let me finish this for a little bit. This property went back on the market on Mercer. Maybe I've seen that one. Maybe I haven't seen that one. BK back on market. We got some new folks here. New listing, just listed. Back on market means they had an offer that was accepted, and for whatever reason it has fallen out. The listing agent has put it back on the market. If I have not seen that property before, keep in mind I should have previewed it before because I do this every day. But if I haven't seen that property before, I go, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Mercer Seller, Lance Warren, Coldwell Banker Pioneer Real Estate. I was running a, don't use terms like hot sheet, they don't understand that. I was just going through the inventory today and I noticed that your agent, Eric, has put your property back on the market. I just realized, I normally go up and see everything that comes new on the market. I realize I haven't seen your house yet. Would it be okay if I came up to look at your house today between 9 and 12 o'clock? I don't have a buyer. Now, when you get into those situations, you get all sorts of goofy, funky answers from the seller. This seller, new listing, they're always excited. They're always excited. Oh, yes, please. Come on up. I got it. Honey, they already got somebody calling. You gotta come on. Okay? These people give you funky stuff. What? My agent put it back on the market. I didn't know he didn't tell me he was going to put it back on the market. Oh, you mean it just came back on the market today? He told me he was going to put it back on the market 2 weeks ago. So be careful with stuff like that. So, you'll have to talk to Eric about that. I don't really know. I just noticed it came back on the market today. Maybe I was wrong. Now, you're not wrong because it just came up. So if they're telling you that Eric was supposed to put it back on the market 2 weeks ago, you are not driving the bus over him. Okay? Just talk to Eric. Maybe my system was wrong. But I do notice it's back on the market. Is the property available? Yes, it is. Well, I haven't seen it before. Can I come up and preview it? Yes, you may. Great, I'll be there between 9 and... Give them a range. And by the way, if you say between 9 and 12, show up between 9 and 12. Preferably give them the earlier side of the range. So if you say between 9 and 12 and you think you could get there before 10, that's more appreciative. If you show up at 11:59,
Don't be the cable company.
Again, I'm the most guilty person of doing that. I do that all the time. What's that?
Don't be the cable company.
Don't be the cable guy. Exactly. Okay, so we've got backup offers. I'm not calling them. Holds. Should I call holds? Probably not. Hold basically is a status that means the listing is still active, but for some reason Eric and the seller have said put me on hold. Really shouldn't be called. People call these all the time. borderline unethical. Okay? Oh, I see your property went on hold. Is there something wrong? What? No, we're on hold for a little bit. You know, my wife is sick, and we're going to deal with it. Why are you calling me? Eric just said we were going to come off the market. No one was going to bother me for a couple weeks. Why are you calling me? Level of professionalism in this business. Are you ready? What did I tell you earlier? You got all these agents that don't close anything. You also got a lot of agents that should not be in this business. They're unprofessional. They do unprofessional things, and it broad brushes all the rest of us with problems. Pending. You don't necessarily want to call. What if I was to call Lakota? Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Lakota, Lance Martin, Coldwell Banker Pioneer Real Estate. I noticed Eric sold your property and put a pending in the computer last night. I'd like to come by and preview it. No. Doesn't work. Does not work. How about the solds? The solds you got to do it a little different. Why would you call the seller on a sold property and say, hey, I see your house closed, that's great, I'd like to come by and preview it. No, you don't want to do that. But what you do want to do is you want to take your solds and you want to stack them up. And a week out, you want to do a drive-by. And you want to knock on the door. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. New Florida owner. Lance Martin with Coldwell Banker Pioneer Real Estate. I'd like to give you my card and welcome to the neighborhood. I do a lot of business up in here. Obviously, you're just moving in. You know, I consider myself the neighborhood expert. I know you were working with Eric and with Robin, and that's great. They're both great agents and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to welcome you to the neighborhood. Okay? Oh, by the way, I've discovered that most buyers, when they move into a house, they always end up with a whole bunch of kind of trash and stuff left over. I happen to offer a service to all of the neighbors who buy houses in my farm, because they're in your farm. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. If you'd like, hang on to my card, give me a call, and if you just want to put all your empty boxes and trash out on the curb, I'll have my handyman come up and pick up all the trash for you. Because it's kind of a pain in the butt. If you put it out there, the trash guys don't take all that stuff. You got to call for a special pickup or you got to go to the dump. I'd be happy to take care of that for you. Is that pretty cool? Is their agent offering them to do that? Are they ever going to hear from their agent ever again? No. They're going into their house saying, I have no idea who this guy is, but some real estate agent didn't even sell us his house, just welcomed us to the neighborhood and brought me an apple pie, and invited me to the open house, which we haven't gotten to yet,
Rather have those cookies.
and offered to haul away all of our trash when we were done. What was our real estate agent's name?
What's his name?
What was that guy? Or, in most cases, you think that buyers are... What percentage of clients have a bad experience with their escrow and maybe don't have a positive opinion of the real estate agent they're doing business with? It's a big percentage.
High percentage.
It's a big percentage.
80?
I don't know if it's that high, but it's a big percentage. But I got to tell you, you've got a pretty good chance of running into a buyer who just bought, who maybe had a bad experience with their agent, for good reasons or bad, maybe that's not fair. Now, you've just shown up out of the blue, you had nothing to do with their deal, you've given them a card, you've given them a welcome package, you've given them a cozy with the Coors Light in it. You've given them a... By the way, I see you're moving in and you've got an ice chest. Here's a few cozies for your water, whatever happens to be. Or better yet, you move in on the weekend and you bring them a little ice chest with a bunch of bottles of water in it with some Coldwell Banker Town and Country Robin cozies. Okay? At any rate, what have you just become? You've just become their new agent. Especially if they happen to be one of those percentage of the agents who has a bad taste in their mouth. Now again, well, Lance, I don't get it. I mean, they just bought the house. Why am I going to these people? They just bought the house.
Yeah, right.
Well, because I'm going to put them in my database and they're going to sell that house at some point. And I want them. At some point. That might not be for 5 or 6 or 10 years. I know. And I want them. Also, what do new homeowners do? They tell everybody that they just bought a house. And what do they want their friends and family to do? They want them to share in the neighborhood. How do you think Moreno Valley was built? Any community is built. You got a brand new community. Somebody from Lakewood drives out here, buys a house. They go back to Lakewood. Wow! I just bought this beautiful house in this new community for $120,000. You got to come check this out. 90% of the people that live in this city came here because of that word of mouth.
That's happened in the 80s out here.
That's how I got here. That's how I got here. My mom, my dad, my brother-in-law all came out here. I was a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, newly married man. My family left Lakewood, Long Beach. They came out here, and I followed them out. Here I am. Same thing with these sellers. So I'm calling these sellers, and I'm calling these sellers. Excuse me, I'm not calling these sellers because I don't have their information. I'm going and I'm knocking on their doors. Now, if there was an expired listing on here, I'm definitely calling the expireds. I'm having a different dialogue. Okay, now let's bring this back to our open house. Okay? So we're getting ready. I'm going to change our criteria. I'm going to add pendings. And I'm going to take some solds. I only want the solds. There's probably a few other statuses I could put on here, but I'm not going to. I only want the solds that have closed maybe in the last, let's say, 30 days. So let's just say July 01 13 plus. Let's see what that gives me. Okay, and let's go back to our map. Okay, guys, now let's go back to where we were 15 minutes ago. I'm holding an open house. I'm knocking doors. It's now Tuesday. I got my sign up. I got my flyers ready. And what do we got here? We've got green or actives. So now, maybe I've previewed this house on Sycamore Canyon. Maybe I haven't. But I'm going up. This is not unethical. The fact that I even have to say that almost implies that it is. But there's nothing wrong with this. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Lance Martin, Coldback, Pioneer Real Estate. You got your house listed with Eric. He's a great guy. I'm having an open house around the block on Saturday from 12 to 5. Why don't you come over? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So you're inviting the neighborhood, specifically, are the sellers who have their house on the market interested in what other houses on the market in their neighborhood look like, what they're priced at, how do they smell, how do they feel, how do they taste? Will you have your other, even if you don't knock on their door, is it reasonable to expect that you will have other sellers at your house? Of course you will. This one's closed. Knock on your door. Now again, what did we say? These people moved into this house within the last 30 days. Same script. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Cobble Creek buyer, Lance Martin, Coldbank of Pioneer Real Estate. I don't know if you saw my sign down at the end of the block, but I'm having an open house this Saturday from 12 to 5, or Sunday from 12 to 5. Here's my flyer. I'm going to have a donkey and pictures and the blah, 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 and cookies and pie, and I'd love you to come. Oh, by the way, I know you just bought the house. I'm sure you're not interested in buying another one. Oh, but if you happen to know of anybody you might want to, maybe a friend, family member, cousin, uncle, brother, brother. Who is the most excited person in the neighborhood? The person who just bought it. And even though they just bought it, the chances are probably pretty good. If just from curiosity alone, hey, they're having an open house. Oh, it is our model. You gotta be careful. Hopefully, the price is higher or something. Oh my God, we just paid $400,000, but you got one listed for $199. Anyway, so you want to invite these people, and then quite honestly, you could also use that little script I used earlier. Now they've been there for a little while. Maybe they've been there for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and you see the pile of trash on the side of the house that's left over from the move. Hey, God, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. I tell you what. Here's my car. I want you to come to the open house, and as kind of a welcome to the community, I've got a maintenance company, which, by the way, we have a maintenance company. If you want us to haul a load of trash from one of your sellers' properties or one of these, call me. We'll do it for free. I'm not going to take 20 tons of stuff and spend $500 at the dump. I'm talking a truckload worth of trash. Okay? We'll do it for free. Okay? We got to talk a little bit more about how we used to manage that company, or how we manage the maintenance. You want to go through this neighborhood, and you want to market your open house. Much different than just showing up on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it happens to be. Now, this is where some people might get a little uncomfortable. We are not knocking on these sellers' doors and these closed, well, actually the closed people doesn't matter, they're completely free game. We're not trying to interfere with anybody else's listing. We're not asking them if you want to list your house with me. The house is listed. We're not asking them that. But if we've done our homework, oh, and by the way, let's suppose for a minute this house is listed, and it's been listed for 60, 70 days, which in this market would be unusual. Let's suppose it's been listed for a while and hasn't sold. What would we have done 60 days ago? What's on our calendar every morning? What do? We call and we preview houses. If this house has been listed for 60 days, what did we do 60 days ago? We previewed it. So now it's a totally different dynamic. When you're going and you're knocking on this door, now, which by the way, today's Tuesday. I'm preparing for an open house on Sunday. It might take me 2 days to do this. Okay? So open house preparation on your calendar, you go back to your calendar and you've got your open house scheduled for Sunday. Here it is. On this part of my calendar on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it might be previewing open house prep for the remaining half a day. Now, what does open house prep mean? You have to define that. It does not mean sitting over there making flyers for 5 hours. Open house prep means possibly what we just described. I'm going to go out and I'm going to knock on these doors. Now, if I've been doing this consistently and I knock on this door, it's a totally different dynamic. Hey, Mrs. Springdale, I don't know if you remember me. I came up and I previewed your house 2 months ago. Remember we first came on the market? You're listed with Eric? Just want to let you know I'm having an open house around the block this Saturday. I know you got your house for sale and we're kind of in competition. Who's going to get the buyer? But if you want to come up, take a look at it. Come on up. We're going to have cookies and we're going to have a donkey. I keep saying donkey. We're not going to have a donkey. What are we going to have? Pony. We're going to have a pony. Donkey sounds terrible.
We're supposed to ride pony.
You came in a little bit late. We're having a pony. We're going to put the kids on the pony. We're going to take pictures of the kids on the pony. Okay? Which, by the way, has anybody ever seen that at open house? No. Which is why you need to do it. Right? Has anybody ever seen the jumper at the open house? I've seen two.
What's the liability on
Of course it is. Oh, it's huge liability.
that? No, I asked it, what is it?
I don't know. It's huge.
Big liability.
It's big. It's dangerous. We probably shouldn't do it. We sure as hell shouldn't have any donkeys. I mean, any ponies. Okay? That's even a bigger liability. But think about it. Think about this. What if you had a relationship with somebody who, you know what I'm talking, they do the fairs and they do the ponies and they put this. What if you had a relationship with somebody like that, and every time you held an open house, I don't know what it would cost, I have no idea what it costs. Okay? Maybe they'd do it for free. Because maybe they would do it for free because the people would come through, they'd get one free picture with the kid, but then if they wanted more, hey, you know, I have a photography business and, you know, maybe work out a partnership, I don't know. But what if you, every time you did that, you became known as, hey, every time Robin holds an open house, she has the photo shoot with the kids with the pony. And again, I know it sounds crazy, guys, but this is sales. This is the sales side of the business. And you need to sell. Or what if you became known as something that's probably a little more traditional? Robin does the open house barbecue. Every time Robin does that, and all her flyers say, come on up for Robin's ribs, okay? And you become known, and frankly, it makes your open houses a little more fun, it makes them a little more dynamic. You got to look, again, you got to spend some money, okay? You might have to spend, I don't know, $100 on getting some stuff going on, but you're right now, and now that smells through the neighborhood. And guess what? Your open house is a flop. There's nobody there. Well, guess what? You've got a bunch of houses here. Hey, my open house is a flop. I've got 40 pounds of ribs over there. You want to come over, just grab some ribs for the kids and so on and so forth? Go knock on 6, 8, 10, 12 doors around there and say, please come over and take my ribs. Will they come?
Yes.
Yes. And they're going to dig you. How cool is that? And they're good. Don't sit on crap. Don't make them sick. Don't give them diarrhea.
Call me next
Okay,
time.
don't have a
Yeah.
problem. Again, you've got to be serious about this. So on Monday, we'd send out some emails, we put our open house sign out that says we're gonna have an open house on the weekend, and now it's Tuesday, and we've been doing, by the way, we still do our previewing every morning. Now, hey, we may be previewing, you gotta remember, we can't lose focus. We may be previewing properties over here on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Now, there's nothing wrong with inviting these people to your open house over here, but you're not necessarily thinking of the two, so you still preview. If you say, I make my phone calls between 8 and 9, setting up my preview appointments, I preview between 9 and 12 my properties. Now again, it's not a bad idea to preview up here if that's where your open house is, but maybe there's not any houses up there that day to preview. Oh, well, I guess I'm not going to preview. No, your calendar says that you preview between 9 and 12. If your calendar says you preview between 9 and 12, you preview between 9 and 12. Period. Well, I got a little bit late at the lake. No. You have to get off the lake in time to get back, get showered, and get out to preview between 9 and 12. Yeah, but the water was really flat today. Did you go out today? I went out today. The water at Lake Parrish today was the best water ever.
You missed it Friday right after you left. It was
It
glass.
just laid down.
Yeah.
It was like that today. I've never seen, it was beautiful. Okay? But you know what? I had to be in, this is Tuesday, where's today? I had to be in Claremont today at 9 o'clock. So I got off the water in time, and I wanted to stay. Believe me, I wanted to stay. I'm an independent contractor. I do what I want. I told you earlier, Arturo, I'm not going to come in and look for you at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to come out at 5 and say, is he still here? It's you, it's discipline. You set your calendar. So again, I preview between here and here. So I'm out there, I'm previewing. Now I'm setting up, again, on my calendar from 1 to 5 says I'm out preparing for my open house. Preparation for my open house, again, door knocking, doing my thing, setting up my thing with the pony guy, whatever happens to be here, getting my barbecue prepped and all the rest of that sort of stuff. I'm also out, every time I'm out doing this, I'm sending messages. I'm sending messages to all these people. Let's go back to Mrs., who was the gal we just talked to? Stony Creek? Mountain? Whatever, doesn't matter. Mrs. Springdale. 60 days ago, I previewed her house. Yesterday, I invited her to my open house. Tomorrow, she gets in a pissing contest with her agent. Does it happen? Or the listing expires. Right? What's that?
I said,
She's
life
evil.
just got good.
Yeah. Or, better yet, the listing expires. Now again, I know we're talking open house class. Open houses are part of a broader campaign of marketing. So I invited her to my open house. Maybe the listing expires. If it expires, that's perfect, because also now every day when I do my previews,
You see the expired.
the expired, there is not one here, but let's say it said expired. Miss Springdale. BAM! I got her. Miss Springdale, it's Lance. Lance Martin? Yes! You know me. I previewed your house. I invited you to my open house. You've been getting my emails. You've seen my stuff all over the neighborhood. I've been farming your neighborhood for 6 years. I never say anything bad about Eric. Never. I noticed your house came expired today. Is it really expired, or was there just a glitch in the system? That's normally the line I like to use. It's a little disarming. Okay? And quite honestly, if there is a glitch in the system, it doesn't necessarily drive the bus over Eric. We never, ever, ever drive the bus over our fellow realtors, even if they deserve it. Okay? So, oh yeah, I know it expired. You know, he'd been asking me to renew, and I don't know. It just didn't seem like, you know. God, I noticed you hold open houses every weekend. If I listed with you, would you hold my house open every weekend? Well, again, depending upon how busy you are, because the busier you get, is it possible? It might not be possible for you to hold her house open every weekend because you've already committed. Well, you know what? I'm kind of a big deal, and I don't know if I could hold your house open every weekend. But I could have one of my partners or my assistants hold it open. How cool would that be? You know, you wouldn't say you're a big deal. That'd be kind of obnoxious. But again, you get where I'm going with this, right? If you're out previewing every single day, and you have to do this religiously. This does not work if you do it for a week. But if you do this, if you do nothing, forget about this open house for a second. If you do nothing for the next 6 months, except go out and preview active properties. I see your property come on the market. I'd like to come by and take a look at it. Would that be okay? Yes, good. Do the same thing with the backup offers. Go through the solds. Well, actually, these two were pending. I thought one of these said closed. You go to the solds. I apologize if I was confusing. I said we were going to knock on these people's doors. This is a pending listing. It would not be appropriate to do that. I thought it said closed. Okay. The closed listings, you go buy the closed listings a week or so after they close. If you do nothing other than that, with no marketing materials, I don't have any money for this stuff. I don't have anything. I don't even have any business cards. I can't do anything because my business cards haven't come in yet. You know what I want? Don't ever say that to me. If you decide to work here, or better yet, if I decide to hire you, and you come to me 3 or 4 days, and you say, my cards aren't in yet, and you're really screwing up my plan, I can't go out and work, I'm going to fire you. Yes.
I was just thinking, I worked somewhere one time in Fort Lauderdale,
Yep.
Florida, and a guy said that to the boss of the company,
Yep.
and the boss of the company absolutely went
Went
ballistic.
ballistic.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is, I can't do anything until I have this little piece of paper in my pocket. And if I don't have this little piece of paper in my pocket, I just can't go out and do it. Really? You're going to get eaten alive.
I
You're
felt
going
bad
to
for the
get
guy.
eaten alive. If this is your protection against kryptonite, you don't have it, baby. This isn't going to work. Well, I don't have my cards. I know you don't have my cards. I'm sorry. Go over there and make a flyer. Put your name on it. This is who I am. This is what I do. Well, that's kind of embarrassing. I don't have any cards. No, it's not. It's really simple. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, Mr. Jones, I'm Lance Marco, Bank of Pioneer Real Estate. I want to preview your property. It's over, so great. Hey, you know what? I'm brand new to the company, which there's nothing wrong with saying that. I'm brand new to the company, and I just got my real estate license a week ago. I don't even have any business cards yet. But I've made up this flyer. Here's all my information. I don't know if that's the best thing in the world, but you know what? It's better than sitting in your office doing nothing. And quite honestly, if you do that, and by the way, brand new people, I truly, truly implore you to be honest with your prospects. Let them know you're new. Let them know, this is my first listing. Oh my God, I can't do that. They're never going to want to list with me. They're going to figure it out. And then when they figure it out, now you're a liar. And they're not going to list with you. Right? They'd much rather list with an honest guy who says, hey, well, by the way, I know I'm new, but hey, I got great support. I've got a couple mentors at the office. My broker's behind me 100%. I'm super aggressive. You can use the standard line. Hey, and I don't have anything else to do. I'll be your exclusive agent. You know, I don't have 45 other listings. You know, I've actually I have lost business. It slayed me but I lost business to sellers that said, Lance, I didn't want to list with you, and I'd rather list with Arturo. I listed with Arturo because, you know, he doesn't really have that much business, and I didn't think you'd be able to devote enough time and energy to me. Are you kidding me? I've sold every house in this neighborhood for the last 3 years. He hasn't sold squat, and I'm too busy. Yeah, you're too busy. I want to list with Arturo. Use it as your advantage. Take it to your advantage. So anyway, we do nothing other than go through preview. Now we're holding an open house. Okay, so let's, gosh, it's 2:30, time flies. Okay, so here we are. It's now, Monday we planted our sign, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we sent out some emails, we knocked on some doors, we wallpapered the neighborhood, we did whatever we're going to do. Now it's time for our open house on Sunday. It's, again, we said 12 to 5. We said 12 to 5, but we're going to get there about 11:30. And again, if I'm holding, what is that? What are we holding on this one?
Yeah, Shadow Ridge.
I want 20 open house signs. 20 open house signs, yes. I want some way down here. I want to bring them in.
All the way down the freeway.
Yep. I don't know if I'm going to the freeway, but I might go to Ironwood. And I'm going to maybe drop in here on Western Ridge. And I'm certainly going to have a bunch at Old Lake. And I may come up here just in case they miss me. But when up on Hidden Springs Drive, I got balloons, I got all sorts of stuff. Maybe 20, yeah, what's wrong with 20? 20 open house signs. Flags. Coldwell Banker, Robin. Brand everything to you. And if you don't brand it Coldwell Banker, brand it Robin. Brand it Robert. Flags, Robert Portugal. Bam. Blue and white. Whatever the heck you want. All that stuff. Brand it. Get it out there. Get the balloons. Balloons? I gotta buy balloons? Yes. You have to buy balloons. Did you know that helium is in shortage right now?
No?
There's a shortage of helium. Oh, what a...
Somebody cut them hailing.
I'm not kidding you. You get balloons. We've got our open house signs. We now get there early. We're putting our stuff up. Now, let's hold the open house. When we hold open houses, every window open. Nice and bright. Okay? And actually, I prefer open. Okay? Every single one. Okay? If it is a, I don't care whether it's winter, summer, whatever it happens to be, I want the house air conditioned. If it's 40 degrees outside, I want it 72 in the house. If it's 100 degrees outside, frankly, I want it 65 in the house if I can get it that cool. I want it, it's so nice in here. If it's 100 degrees outside, and I've got that air conditioner cranked down as low as I can, I want the fireplace on. In the summer. Yes, I want the fireplace on. I want the pool going. I want the jacuzzi bubbles on. I want whatever they have, I want. I want the windows open. I want ceiling fans spinning. I want electricity to be burned. Okay? If the pool's got fountains and all sorts of stuff, I want it. If the pool is green, I'm not holding your house open. If the grass is dead or they won't cut it or they won't spend any money to do it, I'm not going to hold your house open. I'm going to hold something else open. I'm not going to hold open that. Okay? You've got to get it ready. Okay? Preferably, the house needs to be clean, the windows need to be clean. I want everything open. If the house is furnished, you are not allowed to watch TV. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you can't have the game on. Okay? Having the game on is fine, but that's not for you. That's for the customers. Hey! Jesus, no one just open doesn't thank God you got the Cowboys game on. Hang on. Yeah,
But when they ask you the score, you don't know.
that's right. Now, the difference between not watching the game, oh, come on, let's be realistic. You know, it's a great game, it's your team, you're holding an open house, you have a house that's furnished, it's got the TV and it's got the satellite and you've got the game on, that's fine, but this is what we don't do. Sit down and watch this game.
Put your feet up, watch the game.